So hello all. Today we are going to discuss this General Studies Paper 2, which was conducted by UPSC in the Mains 2025, right? And this is the continuation of the series that we have already started, and we have already discussed the GS Paper 1. You can watch that lecture, okay, by clicking on the link on the top right corner. Now, so today we are going to discuss this General Studies Paper 2, and we are going to discuss the questions and analysis of the questions as well as the trend, that whether the question or the trend of the UPSC is intact or is it still changing the trend, right? So let's continue with our discussion. So question number paper 1, discuss the corrupt practices for the purpose of the Representative People Act 1951 and analyze whether the increase in the assets of the legislatures or their associates disproportionate to their own sources of the income would constitute undue influence and consequently a corrupt practice. So this question is based on the corrupt practice which has been written or mentioned within the Representative People Act 1951, and this type of question has already been asked by UPSC, right? And this comes from the polity section of Representative People Act, okay? And this part is specifically mentioned, and every aspirant goes with the preparation of this question, right? And this is question directly in line with the trend of the UPSC, and question has already been asked on the corrupt practices, right? Okay, and this was asked in 2020 itself. There is a need for simplification of procedures with respect to disqualification of persons found guilty of the corrupt practices under RPA. So this type of question has already been asked. So this was a question which is direct on the trend of the UPSC. There is nothing problematic about this question, and I will categorize this question as easy, right? Now moving to the next question, question number 2, comment on the need of the administrative tribunals and compare as compared to the court system, and assess the impact of these recent tribunal reforms through the rationalization tribunals made in 2021. So in 2021 this there was a amendment to the Tribunals Act, and so tribunals were rationalized at that point of the time. But this tribunal as a concept as well as the topic has already been asked by UPSC in number of attempts, number of questions, and in the previous year also. And the same, there is a challenge with respect to tribunals, like there is a tussle between the judiciary as well as the executive, and hence this question of tribunals becomes very important. And not only this, but in 2018 also the question has been asked, do you agree with the view that tribunals curtail the jurisdiction of the ordinary courts? So this is in continuation with this question only, that this question in 2025 has been asked. So I will categorize this question as easy because it is directly on the line with the UPSC, right? So till this point of the time everything is fine. Now moving to the next question, question number 3, compare and contrast the president's power to pardon in India and in the USA. Okay, are there any limits to both the countries? What are the preemptive pardons? Okay, so when I consider this question, then this question is coming from the comparison section. Comparison of the constitutional scheme with India and other countries of the world. Yes, pardoning power of the presidents can be compared easily. Yes, but when it comes to the second question as well as the third question, there will be challenge. What are there any limits to the pardons in both the countries, or what are the preemptive pardons, etc.? So there will be a challenge here. Okay, so in that sense I will categorize this question as a medium type of question. Okay, it may not be that much difficult, but yes, it is and previously has also been asked, like India and USA are two large democracies, examine the basic tenets on which two political systems are based. So comparison type of things has already been asked by UPSC, and this question is directly in the line of that trend. But yes, the question demands in-depth analysis. And this is how this question is a bit different from the previous questions. The question is not direct. Okay, so moving to the next question, question number 4, discuss the nature of Jammu Kashmir Legislative Assembly after the J&K Reorganization Act of 2019. Okay, briefly discuss the power and function of Legislative Assembly of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so See, in this question itself, the nature of Jammu Kashmir Legislative Assembly has been given as union territory by question itself. So the question is itself giving its own answer, right? But yes, this type of question becomes will be a bit difficult for those people who have not analyzed this Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019, and in that sense, this question is a bit of factual nature as well as it is not based on the current trends, not a current based question. Okay, this question becomes analytical, and also this become a bit difficult to answer within that frame of examination, right? Within that period of the time, that is approximately 7 to 8 minutes, this question becomes difficult to write and a good answer, right? So if we analyze the previous questions, then to what extent Article 370 of the Indian Constitution bearing the note temporary provisions. So this question was asked in 2016 when the Jammu and Kashmir had a temporary provision under the Article 370. But now when the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act has been passed, now it has become a unitary, right? So this is how this question is a bit different from the previous questions. Now, moving to the next question number 5. Attorney General of India plays a crucial role of India, yes, and then discuss his responsibility, rights, and limitations. So, a question has been asked on the Attorney General of India, and it's a 10-marker question. It will be fairly easy to write about Attorney General of India within a 10-marker question. Yes, this is easy question which can be done, and also previously also Attorney General has been asked in 2019 also. But here, if you see this year, this 2019, this question was asked in 15 marker, and this was a bit challenge to write this answer within the 15 mark period. But yes, in 10 marks this question is good, and it is fairly easy to write, right? So far so good. Now moving to the next question number 6. Women's social capital complements advancing empowerment and gender equality. Explain. So women is a theme that UPSC is directly focusing upon in GS2, and it has been the trend of the UPSC also to ask a question about women. Okay, if we see this 2021 question, though women in the post-independent India have excelled in various fields, the women, feminist movements, etc., have been patriarchal. So, women and their question about their empowerment, etc., has always been asked by UPSC in one way or the other. So this question is in that line only. But yes, like social capital, linking this social capital with women empowerment, this will be a challenge. This will be a challenge to write within that period of the time, within the frame of the examination, right? So this makes the question medium type of question. Label is medium. Okay, it will not be very easy to write answer of this question. Yes, so this is about question number 6. Now moving to the question number 7. E-governance projects have a built-in bias towards technology and back-end integration and not towards user-centric designs. So this is a problem with the e-governance models of India. And this question wants to emphasize on that model only. We are focusing on technology and back-end integration than the user-centric roles. Right. So this question has like similar type of question has already been asked in 2024 also, like last year only. E-governance is not just about routine application of digital technology in service delivery, but it is about the multi integration for ensuring transparency as well as accountability. So same question has been worded differently, right? So wordings have been changed, but the question remains the same, right? And now question has been asked in a 10 marker, while in 2024 the question has been asked in a 15 marker. Okay, so this question is in the line of UPSC. Yes, it will be easy to moderate to write, upon, because it will be a challenge to give facts and datas in this question, because this type of question is not directly prepared by the aspirants, right? So this becomes the importance of this question. Now moving to the next question number 8. Civil society organizations are often perceived as being anti-state actors than the non-state actors. Do you agree? And this question, I would definitely say, this is a well thought question. Okay, well thought question, and you can relate these to NGOs, where the NGOs has all many of the NGOs has been banned in India. Okay, banned in India because of their anti-national tendencies, and also previous year, our national security advisor has given a statement that civil society organizations are working as an anti-state actors in India. Right. So this question is directly derived from that thought process. Right. So this question is well thought, and if we see the civil society organizations type of question in 2023 also, the contribution of civil society groups has been asked for the women's effective, meaningful participation and representation in legal state legislatures. So contribution of civil society organizations has been asked in 2023. Now a different line of thought has been asked here. Right. They are anti-national or anti-state agencies. Right. So this is the analysis of this question. Okay, and this question becomes I think it will be easy to moderate to write, easy to moderate, because many of the students or most of the aspirants have data and figures with them, at least for NGOs, right? So there are many NGOs like which every person knows about, who may be working in the anti-state tendencies and have been banned by the government of India. So this question becomes easy to moderate to write, and there is no problem with respect to this question. Now moving to the question number 9. India Africa Digital Partnership is achieving mutual respect, co development, and also long term institutional partnerships. Elaborate. So, India Africa relations have already been asked in the UPSC previously also, but it becomes important that this question is specifically focusing upon the digital partnership, and you can't go for different type of different other fields with respect to the partnership between the India and Africa. And if we see in the previous year questions, like in 2021, the question has been asked in the last few decades, what of Asia's growth issue story, and next few are expected to be of Africa's. In this statement, examine the India influence in Africa. Okay, so in 2021 also, India Africa has been asked. India Africa has been asked. So India and Africa relations becomes important, and yes, writing the digital partnership becomes a bit difficult to write. Okay, so student has to manage this question. Okay, there is no other alternative available with the student. Now moving to the next question, question number 10. With the waning of the globalization, post Cold War world is becoming site of the sovereign nationalism. Elucidate. So because of the different type of nationalist and protectionist tendencies, the post Cold War era is a type of witnessed in this today's world. Right, USA is axis again, and then Russia is another axis. Okay, and world is also being fragmented between these two powers now. Okay, so this question wants to emphasize upon that. Okay, and this question is analytical, and it is deeply analytical question. It will not be very easy to write this answer, and hence I will categorize this question from moderate to difficult level. And these type of questions are directly not prepared by the aspirant. They have to think at that point of the time only when they are in the exam. Okay, I'm not talking about those people who have their PSIR as optional. Okay, they may be having some thought about these type of questions, but I am talking about the general candidate who has prepared the international relations with respect to the perspective of general studies. Right. So this is the analysis of this question, and this is a bit difficult question. So in 2016 also, Indian government, the question has been asked about Indian government system responding adequately to demands of liberation, preparation, and globalization, and what are government to do to responsible to import changes. So this type of question on the globalization and post reform era has been asked previously also. Okay, but this question, if I talked about this question number 10, this question is a bit difficult for a question or for a student of general studies. Now, moving next, we have already launched the Dronacharya mentorship program, where we mentor the students with respect to the prelims, mains, and interview stage. Okay, so students can check this Dronacharya mentorship program, where we also provide this mains test series along with the prelims test series, and we guide them one to one, and also personalized study plans are given to the students. So you can check by calling whatsapping on this number, as well as following this telegram channel, right? So now moving to the next question, question number 11. Constitutional morality has been given in this question. Okay, and this has been given for the observation of Supreme Court with respect to the concept of constitutional morality and its application to ensure balance between judicial independence and judicial accountability. So constitutional morality is a new theme that is emerging in the previous year questions of the GS2. Okay, and in this respect, a aspirant who is preparing for this exam should focus upon the constitutional morality. Okay, its various dimensions, its various cases, laws, and other things that or other articles, etc., which are important for the constitutional morality. So this is the theme that is emerging and needs to be prepared by the aspirants, future aspirants, right? Yes. So when we talk about this question is fairly derived from the question that has already been asked in 2021. Constitutional morality is rooted in the constitution itself and founded on the essential facets, the doctrine of constitutional morality with respect to judicial decisions. So this question has itself directly been asked in 2021, and where this was a type of new question. Now this question is not new for the aspirants. Okay, and now I can consider a UPSC aspirant who is diligently preparing for this UPSC. He will know this question, and I will categorize this question as easy to moderate for him. Okay, so this type of question can be tackled in the examination hall, right? Now, moving to the next question, question number 12. In Indian Constitution has conferred the amending powers to the ordinary legislation institutions with a few procedural hurdles. In view of this statement, examine the procedural and substantive limitations on amending power of the parliament to change the constitution. So limitation on the amending power of the parliament has been discussed, and amendment as a theme has already been asked by UPSC a multiple number of times. Okay, if we see this question of 2019 also, Parliament's power to amend the constitution is limited power and cannot be enlarged into absolute power. You have to discuss it under the article 368. And also, when we talk about the basic structure, that is case 1 Bharti case, this case also puts limitations on the legislature to not amend every aspect of every part of the constitution, and hence this question becomes a derivative of this question, right? So amending power of the parliament can be easily discussed, and UPSC aspirant has multiple examples, facts, data with him to answer this type of question. Okay, so when this arsenal of the aspirant is full, so we can categorize this question as easy to attempt, right? Easy to attempt within that duration of examination. Okay, so now moving to the next question, question number 13. Discuss the evolution of collegium system in India, and also critically examine the advantage and disadvantage of this system with respect to between, and also you have to compare between India and USA, right? So this question is on the collegium system, and collegium system has already been discussed multiple number of times, and also been criticized and emphasized, and also advantages have been given a multiple number of times. So this question becomes easy when we talk about the part first of the question. But when we talk about the comparison of this appointment of judges in the India and USA, it may be a bit moderate, because those students who don't read the newspaper, who don't read and analyze the newspaper daily, will certainly face challenge to write this question, because in USA, in the newspaper, we come across a number of articles where the appointment of the judges in the USA are discussed upon. Okay, so there a person can think about that in the examination, but the student may not be well prepared when we talk about the appointment of judges in India and the USA. Okay, so part second can be moderate, but part one of this answer is easy. Now, when we talk about the questions in the previous year time also, in 2017, the question has been asked by the critical examiner, the Supreme Court judgment of NJAC of 2014 with respect to appointment of judges in higher judiciary. So the same type of collegium type of question. This question may not be directly related to collegium, but yes, collegium system was directly targeted in NJAC Act of 2014, and that's why this question has come. Okay, so this can be talked about when we talk about the collegium system. Okay, so this becomes important, and this question has a bit easy to moderate level. Now moving to the next question, question number 14. Examine the evolving pattern of center-state financial relations in context of the planned development of India, and how far have these recent reforms impacted the fiscal federalism in India. Fiscal federalism is not a new theme. Okay, new theme. It is a old theme of UPSC, and UPSC has asked multiple number of attempts in number of multiple number of questions also have been given by the UPSC in the center state financial relations. So this question I will categorize as being in the trend of the UPSC, and also easy to write. And when we see the previous type of question in 2024 itself, that is previous year only, the question has been asked what changes has been union government has introduced in the domain of center state relations. Okay, and how we can or some measures which can be adopted to build trust between center and states. So in the fiscal federalism, this question and this type of question has already been asked. Okay, so but this question is about federalism in as a whole, but yes, some of the students or many of the students will write fiscal federalism also within that domain. Okay, and in that sense I will categorize this question as easy to answer, right? So this is about question number 14. Now moving to question number 15. What are the environmental pressure groups and discuss their role in raising awareness, influencing policies and advocating the environmental protection in India. Okay, so this question is a subset of the pressure groups. That is the topic that has been mentioned in GS2. Okay, and this question can be easily answered. Okay, because pressure groups work for the raising of awareness and for policy. But what will be a challenge in this type of question will be facts and data. When you are not able to give the facts and specific data, that becomes a challenge, because environmental pressure groups the data may not be prepared by the aspirant, right? Okay, when we talk about the question, the previous question, that is 2019 also, the question has been asked, what are the methods used by the farmer organization to influence the policies in India, okay, and how effective are these? So farmer organization have been asked, but it is the first time that the environmental pressure groups has been asked. Especially the environmental pressure groups has been asked. Okay, so this becomes this makes this question a bit moderate in difficulty level to write upon. Okay, so moderately difficult this question is to answer. Okay, so this is about question number 15. Now we have already launched the mains courses, mains test series, and where you get the 35 weeks of systematic answer writing. And not only this, you also gets twice mentorship, one-to-one mentorship twice monthly, in order to discuss your answers with the mentor and gets feedback to write effective answers, right? So this type of mains test series is also available in the Strive Academy, and we have also launched some other initiatives, like this initiative is a flexible answer writing, where you have to give your own questions. Okay, own questions, and you have to post them in the group, and those will be evaluated within a time of 48 hours. Okay, so we give a guaranteed evaluation within 48 hours, and you can check up on this course in our Telegram as well as app also, right? Now, moving to the next question, question number 16. Inequality in ownership pattern of the resources is one of the major causes for poverty in India. In the context of paradox of poverty, you have to discuss upon it. So this type of question is a bit new. Okay, a bit new. Why this is new? Because it talks about inequality, and inequality is a topic mostly concerned in GS3. Okay, though we also talk about the inequality in GS2 by the talk of the DPSPs. But yes, this type of pattern has not been specifically asked in the UPSC previously. And inequality in the resource allocation needs to be emphasized here, right? And if we see the previous type of questions in 2020, question has been asked: the incidence and intensity of poverty are more important determinant of the poverty based on income alone. And question has asked about the United Nations multi-dimensional poverty index. Okay, so on poverty question has been asked, but the ownership of resources and inequality, etc., question has not been asked. Okay, and this time this question will be a bit difficult to answer. Okay, moderately difficult to answer, right? So yes, this question will be making the aspirant to challenge his understanding level of this exam, right? Now, moving to the next question, question number 17. In the containment development models, decision making and problem solving responsibilities are not located close to the source of information execution, defeating the objective of development. Okay, so this question is directly from the e-governance model. And this question is in line with the question that we have previously discussed based on the e-governance model. Okay, so specifically we are focusing on the technology only, but not the problem solving. Okay, we are not focusing on the local problems. So this is the question, this is the fundamental idea that this question wants to emphasize upon. We are not focusing on the bottom to up approach. And this is how this question needs to be answered. And this question becomes, I can say, easy to moderate to answer, though giving some data and facts will be a challenge here, right? So if we see in 2023 also, question has been asked on the e-governance as a critical tool for governance, which has ushered in effectiveness of transparency and accountability in government. Inadequacies has been asked by the UPSC in 2023 for e-governance, and the same type of inadequacies has been answered in this type of question. So that is why this question is a bit moderate in the level. Okay, easy to moderate in the level. Now, moving to the next question, question number 18. The National Commission for Protection of the Child Rights has addressed the challenges faced by children in digital era, examine the existing policies and suggest measures for the commission can initiate to tackle the issue. So National Commission for Protection of Child Rights have been asked here. So this was a question which was expected in previous mains. So many times what happens is, when the UPSC gets the full quota of the questions, then the same year's question are asked in the next year, right? So this is the type of question that is being asked this year, that should have been asked in the previous year, because National Commission for Protection of Child Rights was much in the news previous year than as compared to this year, right? Now, this question is new because this commission has not been asked previously, right? And that's why this becomes a challenge to the students to write this answer, and hence I will categorize this as moderately difficult. Now, moving to the next question, question number 19. The energy security constitutes the dominant kingpin of India's foreign policy, and which is related to Middle Eastern countries, how would you integrate energy security with India's foreign policy? So this question, because we are most of the time we are dependent on the Middle East countries for our energy needs, right? And that is what is the foreign policy objective of India with respect to the Middle East, that we need to secure our energy basket, right? And that is why the foreign policy of India keeps on changing because of the energy dynamics, changing in the energy dynamics throughout the world, right? And that is why this question wants to what this is what the question wants to emphasize upon. When we talk about the question that is one asked in previously in 2017, the question on India's energy security has been asked, and the most important part of the India's economic progress as well as foreign cooperation in energy policy cooperation with West Asian countries. So this type of question has previously been asked in the exam also. So in as this question is in continuation with this series, that is why I will categorize this question as easy to moderate, somewhere between easy to moderate, right? So this question can be, with the knowledge of the aspirants, can be managed in the examination. Okay, can be managed in the examination. Now moving to the last question, question number 20. The reform process of the United Nations remains unresolved because of the delicate imbalance between East and West, and also entanglement of the USA versus Russia Chinese alliance. Examine the critically evaluate East-West policy confrontation in this regard. So UN Security Council and UN reforms are not proceeding in the intended direction as they should because of the imbalance between East and West, and that is why this question has been asked. Okay, so UN Security Council has not been directly asked in this question, but yes, UN reforms has been asked. Okay, and our student who is preparing for this UPSC prepares this question well, and that is why I will categorize this question as easy to moderate. Easy to moderate. And when we talk about the previous question, question number in 2015 also, this question was asked to discuss the impediments that India is facing in the pursuit of the permanent seat in UN Security Council. So this was question for India specific, but now this question that has been asked in GS paper 2, this question is very broad, right? And also you have to concentrate upon East and West axis. So this makes a bit challenging to write this question. Yes, but question can be written in the exam. Okay, so that's why I categorize as easy to moderate question. Okay, so this was the whole analysis of this paper. But when I consider as a whole, analysis as a whole, so polity was easy to moderate. Easy to moderate. Most of the questions were easy, but when we talk about the comparison type of question, those were difficult in their approach, right? Now when we talk about the international relation, this was a bit difficult because no question has been asked on the bilateral ties, that and no question has also been asked on the grouping. Actually students, most of the students focus on the bilateral relations as well as the global groupings, but none of the question was asked about it, and that's why this question this part has now become difficult to answer. But when we talk about the governance part, this was fairly easy to write, and as well as it was on the expected lines. Okay, so as a whole the IR was difficult, otherwise the question and as well as the paper was on the expected lines and within the trend of the UPSC, right? Okay, so this was the analysis. Thank you for watching this lecture. If you like this lecture, do like, share and subscribe this channel, okay, and so that you can get these informative videos at the very first stage. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for being part of this series.